So all of us have different aspects of life, whether it is personal, professional, financial, spiritual, emotional, health, there's so many aspects of life. So some of us are doing well in one aspect, whereas struggling in the other. Some of us are quite balanced in all aspects of our life. But your being here and registering for this webinar shows that there is something lacking in one or more areas of your life, which is what you want to take to the next level. And what we're going to talk about is very foundational for taking care of the challenges or the concerns that you're facing in any aspect of your life. So it's going to be a very foundational steps. And my big promise to you today is that I'm going to share with you over the next 45 minutes a step-by-step game plan to increase the happiness and satisfaction index in your life without changing any of the external circumstances. Yes, this is important. What I'm going to share does not want you to leave your job or leave the place where you are or do anything drastic. What I'm going to share with you is going to make a big impact in your life without changing any of your external circumstances. So let's jump right in. Who this is for, I want to ensure that the people who are on this webinar know that you are on the right forum. And for me also, I have to ensure that the audience who's here is the right audience for this webinar. So who this is for? This is for leaders. Yes, this is for leaders who are aspirational and have dreams. This is for leaders who want to create a career and a life that is exciting and promising. This is for leaders who want to set goals and, more importantly, meet those goals too. And this is for leaders who want to be focused and clear about the direction in their life. However, if you are here right now, what that means is that you are unhappy, dissatisfied, demotivated, and probably frustrated in your career or in some aspect of your life. You're struggling to bring in more productivity and focus to work towards your goals. Or it might be that you are just a victim of procrastination. Or you are just not happy being where you are and you want to really take it to the next level. You might be scared to take risks. You might be scared to take that bold step to move towards the life of your dreams. So because you are here, it means that you're facing one or the other challenge. So if you are a leader who wants a better lifestyle, who wants more money, who wants more satisfaction, then you are at the right place. You have to be committed to do what it takes to reach new heights in your career. If you are that leader, then this is exactly what we want to talk about next. So let's move forward. The interesting thing is not the problems that you're facing in your life. So, to the question that I had asked during registration, some of you said that you're facing self-discipline issues. Some of you said that you're just not able to focus and work towards your goals. Some of you mentioned that you have not been able to talk to your leaders and ask for that promotion or that pay hike. Some of you feel unappreciated by what others give feedback to you. So there are a lot of problems that all of us have in different aspects of our life. But the interesting thing is that those problems are not the real problems. The real problem is that you don't know these 4 shifts. These fundamental 4 shifts that can transform your life and that can give you the power to work towards solutions to any of these problems. And what we want to do today is I'm going to walk you through these 4 powerful shifts. What are these shifts? We'll talk about as we move forward. But before we do that, let me just give a quick introduction about myself. So who am I? My name is Deepa Chandrasekharan. I'm a career transformation expert and a really big dreamer. I'm the founder of Engage to Transform, and I am also the author of the book titled The Career Accelerator Formula. I have a corporate experience of close to 2 decades working in large organizations, large MNCs with global leaders and multiple clients across the globe. In this process of 22 years of working in corporates and then moving into this learning and coaching field, I have extensively worked with leaders like you to help you move forward in your career, to revolutionize your career, experience more job satisfaction, earn more income, get a balanced life, and just enjoy what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So this is who I am and this is what I do. Now I have for you something which is very interesting. So this, what I have created is called the happiness index pyramid. Now I have divided the happiness index into 4 phases or 4 levels. These 4 levels are dejected, frustrated, surviving, and thriving. So if your happiness index is less than 20%, you are probably at the bottom of this pyramid. If your happiness index is between 20 to 40%, then you are one level up. If it's between 40 to 80%, then you're just about surviving in life. And if your happiness index is greater than 80%, then you are thriving. You are having fun and you're living a life that is designed exactly by you. So on the left-hand side of my screen are the symptoms of each of these levels. So let's look at the symptoms very quickly because this forms the foundation of what we're going to talk next. So if you are dejected in life, which means that you are suffering from constant anxiety, you are worried about your career or your life, you self-sabotage yourself, you are a victim, and you lack the self-esteem, the self-confidence, then you are probably at this stage. And most of your life is spent, you feel very worthless and meaningless. The next level is called the frustrated state, where there is a lot of stress, there is self-doubt, there is low energy, you feel unappreciated. There's always a blame game happening as to why things are happening to you, and you still feel out of control. The next stage is called the surviving stage, where you have moved beyond these 2 stages and you are oscillating between different emotional states. So some days you might be extremely happy, and some days might be very low on energy, very demotivated, no enthusiasm in life. People in this state seldom achieve their goals. They do set goals, so they are aspirational and they do set goals, but there's a challenge in consistently working towards those goals. Sometimes these people are overwhelmed, but more or less they are able to live a good life. Now moving to the 4th level, which I call the thriving stage, here is a person who has tremendous amount of self-esteem. They have a very positive personality. They're forward-looking, solution-oriented, and they don't agree to playing a victim. So they are victors and they know how to take their life to the next level. So these are the 4 stages, and people could be in different stages of this pyramid. Now on the right-hand side, you see keys to success. So what are some of the things that people have to do at each level that will take them to the next level? And if implemented in the right manner, there is definitely a possibility of you moving very quickly from one stage to the other. So this is called the happiness index pyramid. Now what I want you to do is just take a look and see where you stand on this pyramid. Are you in the dejected, frustrated, surviving, or thriving stage based on the symptoms that you see and the life that you're leading right now? And if it's okay with you and you would want to share with all of us, then just go into the chat box and just type the stage that you think you are in right now. This is for you to actually know where you stand, and you have to be very honest in terms of evaluating yourself, because we have to be very blunt with ourselves first in terms of evaluating our current stage, and that helps us to move forward to the next stage. So let's keep moving forward. This is the happiness index pyramid. And what I'm going to share with you now is actually a system. This is not ad hoc talk. This is not ad hoc discussion. This is actually a system that I have designed, which is called decelerate to accelerate. Sometimes we just have to pause, take a look at where we are, do some amount of self-introspection, and just hit that pause button, because after that, we get into that acceleration mode. So I call this system decelerate to accelerate, and it's a 8-step system which takes you step by step from being a victim, from leading a meaningless, directionless life, to being a victor where you are leading a very focused and a very disciplined life. It's divided into 3 phases. The first phase is all about self-love. It's important for us to love ourselves before we start loving others around us. So there are 3 steps to self-love. Then you actually go ahead to create a life by design. through this system, you are creating goals for yourself, which are your own goals. And then you're delivering outcomes and moving on to celebration and, looking at the road ahead. So this is a 8-step system. And what I'm going to talk today, the 4 shifts that I have discussed are all part of the system. So let's keep moving forward. The 4 shifts for increasing happiness and satisfaction in life. The first one is, what makes you you? Yes, that's a very interesting question, and we'll delve a little deeper into it as we move forward. The second shift is, identify your North Star. The third shift is very contrary to what we have always heard of. Ignorance is not bliss. We've been always hearing that ignorance is bliss, but for me, ignorance is not bliss, and we'll talk about it. And the fourth step is, you have to work with the very best. So let's spend the next 15 minutes to just go through these shifts one by one, where I'm going to elaborate and talk about what happens as you move through these 4 shifts. One important thing that I wanted to mention as part of my system is, there's a very foundational principle of my system. And the principle is that each one of us is infinite. Each one of us has the potential to achieve whatever we want in life. It's the truth, but a lot of us have been made to believe that it is not possible to have it all. And that is what we focus on as we move forward. So remember, the principle of my system is that each one of us is infinite. We have the potential to achieve any dream in our life, provided we know the process and we know the steps to reach there. So let's move to the first shift, which is, what makes you you? Now, I hear some of you probably thinking in your mind, to answer this question, that if I am thinking, I would say, okay, my name is Deepa and I am the founder of Engage to Transform. I have been working in multiple organizations. I am married. I have 1 daughter. I love reading. So these are the normal answers to the question, what makes you you? But the interesting thing is, this is only very superficial. All of us really, and this is very important, so I'll repeat it. All of us are actually a product of the conditioning that we have been in since our childhood. And this conditioning starts the moment from where we are born. This conditioning is a product of the way we have been brought up by our parents, the teachers, the schools that we have been, the city that we have been staying, the friends that we have had, the colleges that we have gone to, the society that we have been, the culture that we have been. So the product of all of these different aspects is the person that we call me, ourselves. So we have in that process of being conditioned and trying to fit into the world and the society and the laws of what we think is right and wrong, we have somewhere lost control of our life. And we have lost that joy and happiness of truly being who we are. And that creates that void, that emptiness, that dejection, that depression that a lot of people are going through now. So in simple words, if you have to answer and if you have to see whether the person that you are right now is working for you, is taking you towards the goal, then you just have to look at the results that you're getting. Your results are actually a reflection of who you are. So if you have been consistently been able to work towards your goals, if you are self-disciplined, if you are able to do exactly what you want, then you have been brought up in a nice way. You have been conditioned and you have been empowered to lead the life that you're leading right now. But if there is disappointment in certain areas of your life, it can be health, it can be emotional states, it could be just not being able to take the vacations or not being in the right job or not getting that right promotion. If the results outside are not as per your expectation, then it's time to actually evaluate who you are. And this is exactly what we do in the first step of my system, where we are getting into deep down into your fears, into the beliefs that you're carrying, and then transforming them into empowering beliefs that can help you to take the next step towards your goals. So this is the first step of my system. I want to talk a little bit here about the iceberg analogy. We all know that iceberg, a a very small portion of the iceberg is what is visible to us outside. And there's a lot of it, which is 90% of it is actually hidden underneath in the ocean. So the results that we get, the behavior that we have, this is just that tip of the iceberg. And that is what is visible. But what drives it is our thoughts, is our beliefs, is about who we think we are, the value system that we're creating. And if the results in behavior is not as expected, then working superficially is only going to give a short-term result. What we have to really do is go back and reevaluate ourselves, look at the thoughts, beliefs, values, and empower ourselves, change these things to change the outside world or change the results and the behavior. Now, let me show you some common limiting beliefs that we all live with, right? If you look at your career, then there are certain beliefs that we have been grained. And those are, for example, success is only for a chosen few, or I could never do that, or successful people are just plain lucky, or I can never achieve the goals that I set for myself, or my circumstances don't allow me to work on my goals. A lot of times, if you just hear yourself talking to you, you will see that these are the things which are working against you. For money, for example, I work with a lot of people and I work with a lot of leaders who are unable to get that pay hike. They are unable to find a job which pays them well. And when we get into the detailed, analysis of why is that happening, it's the beliefs that are stopping them. And some beliefs are, I'll never make enough money. Or people associate money with being bad. So rich people are bad is one of the common beliefs that I've heard. Or for getting rich, one has to work long hours. Some of the other common beliefs which are very, very disempowering is, I am not good enough. I am not, and then you fill in the blanks and see what are the different things that you keep telling yourself that you are not. And that leads to a lot of struggle, a lot of victimization, and a lot of self-sabotage. The first step of my system is all about identifying these beliefs which are very specific to you and then transforming them to a step-by-step process so that you then become a person who can start working towards your goals in life. So this is the first step of my system and the first shift that I wanted to share with you. The second shift is actually called identify your North Star. Sometime back, I said that, we all need to know where we stand. But the next step after identifying where we stand is actually identifying where do you want to go? What is it that you want to do in life? What is your purpose? What is your vision? And very interestingly, when I talk to people and I ask them to define success, what is success to you? Again, based on conditioning, success is primarily two parameters. One is how good you're doing in your career. And the second is how much money do you have in your bank account? If people have a lot of money and, and they're doing well, so they might be a VP or they might be a CEO or a CIO and some big designation that they have achieved in life, then people consider themselves successful. Or in fact, the society considers them successful. But I know a lot of people who have achieved these two things, but there is still an emptiness, a void inside them. So what is happening here? Why is it that money cannot make people happy, or just a position or a designation or a good career cannot make them happy? And the reason is because they're not living their life by purpose. And that is exactly what we do in this shift and as part of my system in the next step, which is about what is my life purpose? What is really that I expect from life? And then you align your life, align your career, align your day-to-day activities to match the purpose. And then suddenly everything starts looking different. You start achieving the transformation, you start meeting your goals, you start working towards whatever you set your mind to. So that's the next important system. The first shift was understanding who you are. The second shift is about what is my life purpose, and we get into then your SWOT analysis, and we identify what is the vision, and we create a blueprint of all aspects of your life, not just about your career, but it is also about your personal, professional, health, finance, all the different goals of your life. The third shift that I want to talk about, okay, let me tell you a story since we are here. So this is, I identify this with a story about a person who is very dejected, who is very depressed, and he comes onto this railway platform roaming from here and there, and he lands on platform number one, and he sees a train standing in front of him. So he gets into the train, he occupies a berth, and the train starts. So the TT comes to him and says, okay, where do you want to go? Show me your ticket. And this person is confused and he asks the TT, okay, where is this train going? And the TT says, but where do you want to go? He said, no, you tell me where is the train going. So the TT says, this train is going to Delhi. So he said, okay, then take me to Delhi. So our life also has become like that. We have become so reactive to situations that we have forgotten about designing our life and designing the way we want to lead life. We are leading lives the way it wants us to. And people who are here definitely want to break that jinx and start taking control of the way that they want to lead life. So I thought this was a good analogy, and I love this story when we're talking about direction and we're talking about setting goals, and when we're talking about where exactly do you see yourself, in an year, 2 years, 3 years. So with that, let's move to shift three. And shift three is, like I said, ignorance is not bliss. Now, perfect example of this shift is the law of gravity. All of us know the law of gravity, and all of us accept it unconditionally. Have you heard anyone cribbing about the law of gravity and saying, why does everything fall to the ground? Why can't I break this law and start throwing things up and they stay up in the air? No, nobody does that. Because everybody understands that it is the universal law and accepts it, and then starts using that law to work in their favor. So similarly, we need to be aware of the laws that are ruling our mind. There are very simple rules of the mind. And if we are aware of those rules, we can start using our knowledge of those rules to live the life that we want. Till now, we've been ignorant. We have no idea why we do what we do. And hence, we keep suffering. We are frustrated. We don't know why things are not manifesting for us. And, we oscillate between those four levels of the happiness pyramid. So to understand the rules of the mind is what I do in the next step. But to give an example, one rule of the mind, which is very significant, is that mind always takes you away from pain towards pleasure. Let me give you an example. A lot of us and a lot of clients that I meet on a regular basis want to get up early in the morning. Everybody has that wish, at least 80 to 90% of us want to get up in the morning at 5:30 and have that effective 2-hour morning routine. All of us have had that wish. But if I ask people, what percentage of the time are you able to do that? There's hardly 1% of the people who are actually able to do that. For rest of them, they get up, they again go back to sleep, or they do it like once in a month, or, it's a very, very varying degree of meeting that goal that they have set for themselves. Now, this is just an external behavior. This is an external manifestation. Now, if you go deep into it and apply this rule to that behavior, let's see how it works. So what happens when we start thinking about getting up in the morning? So if I am that person, I want to get up at 5 o'clock. I tell myself, oh my God, 5 o'clock, is that a time that normal people get up? I sleep late. My family does not eat dinner until 11 or 12 in the night. Getting up at 5 is a pain for me. I know it is good, but it doesn't work for me. There are only some people who can get up at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is a time for ghosts, So we are inside our mind, we have associated getting up at 5 with all of these different self-talk and self-behavior. Now, when we're doing all of this, our mind knows that this is painful for us. The impression that it is getting from this discussion that we are having, the self-dialogue that we are having, is that it is painful for Deepa to get up at 5 o'clock. And no wonder when I set an alarm for 5 o'clock the next day, there are 10 reasons of why I should not get up at 5 o'clock. and I go back to sleep. So this is how our mind works. And there are very simple rules, but knowing those rules put you into that power of understanding why what is happening to you. Manifestations can be different. Now, if I'm not able to get up at 5 o'clock, I associate myself with being lazy. I associate myself with a person who does not have enough willpower. I associate myself with a person who just keeps procrastinating. And this one simple habit actually starts impacting my entire life. And it impacts my office, it impacts my professional environment, it impacts my, looking at myself. It impacts the way I think and feel about myself. So hence, this is an absolute must for us to know what are those rules of the mind and why do we need to understand them, and then utilize that knowledge to work, to work towards the goals that we all have set up for ourselves. Shift number 4, and this is the fourth shift that we're going to talk about today, is about working with the very best. Now, what I have shared till now and the system that I'm giving you and the number of steps that I have shown you are very simple, and a lot of us feel that, yes, it is possible and we can do all of these things and achieve this very easily. But the challenge is that it might look very simple, but it is not very easy. It needs a very step-by-step process to take you from where you are to where you want to be. Now, each piece needs a lot of effort, and sometimes it needs a lot of accountability. And my clients have been able to walk through this, and they've been able to achieve those, those joyous changes because they work with us to help them to move in that direction. So, with so many coaches out there, you might be thinking, who should I work with? Whose help should I take to move forward and, and get these changes into my life? So here are 5 standards that I have created, and anybody who follows these 5 standards is a good coach for you. So the first standard is that the coach should have a step-by-step system for fast results. It has to be a step-by-step process, and there should be real support and accountability. The third thing is there should be real clients who are getting great results. It cannot be a theoretical system. It has to be a system that is working for people. The fourth step is it has to be the complete solution. It cannot be just tips. So it has to be a solution that is taking you from one step to the other, and the transformation has to be visible. And the fifth important standard is that the coach has to be helping clients with this problem on a day-to-day basis. So if you find some coach which is meeting these standards, then just please go ahead and work with that coach to take your life to the next level. So the bottom line is that the system that I have created is a result of my 2 decades of experience and working with live clients on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, if you want to do these things, find a mentor, find a coach who is following these 4 standards, and then spend the time and the money to do what it takes to lead your life in the way that you want. So what is it that I promised today? I promised that I would share with you a step-by-step game plan that my clients are using to increase happiness and satisfaction in their lives. And I promised that I would show you how to do all of this without changing anything externally. So what do you need to win? Let's just paraphrase and summarize what we have discussed today. So what you need is to understand what makes you you, and then actually start working on changing things which are not empowering you to live the life that you deserve and that you want to. The second shift is you have to identify your North Star. The third shift is ignorance is no longer bliss. Gain knowledge, gain control, gain power. And the fourth shift is you have to work with the very best. This system is the system my clients are using on a day-to-day basis to increase happiness and satisfaction in their lives. Each step of the system is accompanied with certain tools, certain processes, certain steps that you have to take, which will take you from one level to the other. So now you have a choice. You really have a choice. If you want to use this system and do it all by yourself. So you do it the hard way or the slow way, or you can do it the easy way and work with a coach, work with a mentor who can accelerate this journey of loving yourself and reaching the goals that you have to. It's all about a mindset shift. Now, the question is, how can I help? So, what is it that I can offer, and how can I help you if you're looking to work towards the life of your dreams? So, I have set aside some time over the next few days to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your career, to your life, or to any other aspect of your life that you're struggling with starting today. Whatever your biggest challenges are, we have seen it all, and there are some amazing achievements and outcomes for my clients. So you don't have to struggle to figure it out yourself. You you have that option of utilizing the best to solve the problems in your life. So on this life transforming strategy session, and I'll talk about what that is, we will work with you to do three things. One is identify the bottlenecks in your life right now. Second is to help you create an action plan which will take you from where you are to where you want to be. And the third step is you will get support to really figure out what is working and not working in your life. What is the cost of this life transforming session? Well, the cost, it is absolutely free. There is no cost, and I get onto a call one on one with anybody who wants to talk to me, and then we spend about 60 minutes to go through these three action items on a very, very systematic basis. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm launching my next batch of this 6 weeks program starting on 1st June. And I have space for only 5 people in each batch. So right now I'm in the process of shortlisting and finalizing these participants. So if you think that you want to be the person who starts implementing and working towards your goals instead of just thinking about it and constantly worrying about what's happening and not happening in your life, then I encourage you to take the first step. Implementation is powerful. We can keep thinking and thinking, but that's not going to result in anything different from what you've been experiencing till now. But before I tell you how to set up this call and how to really join my program, let me make sure that I am very clear about who this program is for. So this program is for leaders who have a minimum of 8 years of experience in the industry. You have to be willing to commit yourself to your progress and your growth. And third, you must have a strong urge to bring this change in your life. Because if you're not ready to take action and kick yourself out of the comfort zone, then this will not work for you. And I would not be able to onboard you to my program. So it's important that you do a self-analysis to see if you have the courage to do what it takes to change your life. Like I said, it's very simple. It's just 8 steps, but then it's not easy. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, but then you're going to become the victor of your life. If that's you, you think that you follow these prerequisites and these are the rules for getting onto my program, then, like I said, you have the option to book a session now with me, which is a free one-to-one life transforming session. And this is where you can go. I have some slots available over the next few days, and those will be visible in the calendar that will come up once you go to this URL. So you can go to this URL, you can book an appointment with me, and we'll get on that call. I'll call you on that time, and we can have a very, very interactive 1 hour discussion where we will exactly discuss about the challenges that you're facing, the problems that you're facing, what is stopping you from moving forward, and then create an action plan which is life transforming and which takes you to the next level. So if you think that will help, then please go ahead, book an appointment with me, and let me also put it in the chat box. So it's So this is the URL. You can just copy this, put it into the browser, just go ahead and pick a slot which works for you and book a call with me, and I'll be more than happy to have this discussion with you. And I look forward to having the discussion with the people who are going ahead and setting up that call. So thank you so much for people who have joined. I wanted to share what it takes to move forward in life and to up your game of life. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions, if you want to talk about it further, if you want to see how this system can actually help you transform your life, then just go ahead and book this call and we'll have a one-on-one discussion, very much in detail, which is very personalized and very specific to you. So use that opportunity. It's a free coaching call, and I'll be more than happy to help you and take it forward. So thank you so much. And I look forward to talking and engaging with all of you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thanks, Vanna.
Thank you, Deepa.